Okay. Hi, everyone. So normally I go and walk back to my mat, but sometimes I feel like I'm just so far away from you guys. So before we start our practice, just want to say hello to everyone. And for those of you who are maybe joining not live, my name is Amanda. And for all of my practices, nothing is um, required. All the poses, if something doesn't feel good, you definitely do not have to do it. Just listen to your body. So today I was going to talk about our flow. We're going to do a lot of hip openings, but I wanted to do hip openings not just because I really like them, but also we have a new moon coming at the end of the week, and it's also Lunar New Year if anyone celebrates that. But with new moons, it always brings new opportunities. We like to shed off any like old habits or things that don't serve us, but just to have the opportunity to bring new energy into our life. So for today's practice, I have an intention, and you can have the same one. You can also have multiple intentions if you want them. But with the new moon, I always like to have this intention, and it is I am manifesting all that aligns with my highest potential. And sometimes it's awkward for us to have these like positive affirmations, but you are worthy of having all of those like good energies to you. So whether you want to say it out loud or in your mind, you can totally go with that or even something else. But we are going to start the music. I know sometimes I feel like I talk while we're trying to come into our inner space. So having said that before, we'll all meet up on the mat and we're going to just take a nice comfortable seat, whether that's like cross-legged or your feet all the way out in front. But if you can sit in like a crisscross applesauce kind of way, it'll help open up the hips. You can always sit on a block or a pillow, give you a little more space. But then once you make your way there, we'll just begin to root the sit bones down into the earth, maybe sway a little side to side, just finding that foundation. Taking a big breath in and just letting out the mouth. Letting go of anything that built up this morning or just beginning of the week, letting it go. And then with every breath, begin to slowly lengthen each vertebrae just a little more, all the way to the crown of the head. And then with every exhale, begin to root and ground yourself down into the mat. And then maybe finding a little more stillness. Shoulders are stacking right on top of the hips. And taking another big breath in, expanding the rib cage. And then exhale, letting it out the mouth. Begin to dive a little deeper in. Just slowly shutting out the world for right now. I know we have a lot of things going on, but refocusing yourself on your mind, on your body, on your breath in this very moment. Begin to surrender to your practice. And just observing the breath, nice and simple. If you do notice that your breath is a little more shallow or short, just intentionally deepening each breath, elongating each exhale. Softening the shoulders down the spine a bit. And softening the brows, the face. And then if it resonates with you, you can set an intention for your practice. It can be a positive affirmation. Maybe it's the one that I said in the beginning, or it can be any others. No rules. All positive intentions are welcome. And just drawing your attention to any areas of tension in the body or even in the mind. Without judgment, just see what's going on. Maybe it's a tight neck. Maybe the back feels a little funny. But see, with every breath, letting the body just soften just a bit more. Releasing any stagnant air, any stagnant energy lingering around. And we'll take one big breath in. Nice exhale out the mouth. Begin to drop the chin towards the chest, nice and easy. You can keep the eyes closed if you would like, but we'll slowly roll out the neck to the right, circling towards the back, to the left. And then the chin meets the chest again. And then we'll slowly reverse it. Once the chin meets the chest again, we'll slowly blink the eyes open, nice and easy. And we'll inhale the gaze all the way towards the front of the room. With your arms, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. Gaze looks in between the fingers. And exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. And again, we'll just do that a couple more times. Inhale, lengthen with each breath. And then exhale, releasing, grounding down just a bit more. One more time. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. So we're just going to take that right hand out onto the mat. And then with your left hand, just really gently but press down firmly that left hip. So you're really rooting your left sit bone down into the ground first. And then leaning to the right a bit more as far as it feels comfortable. And on an inhale, spiral that left arm all the way up into a nice side bend. Still rooting that left sit bone into the ground. Inhale, maybe open up the heart a bit more. And then exhale, we'll come all the way back up. And we'll just tip it on to the other side. Left fingertips meet the ground with that right hand just firmly but gently pressing that right hip, right sit bone down into the mat. And then we'll inhale, sweep the right arm all the way up. Inhale, really lengthening that side body. And then exhale, maybe moving in just a little more if any space was created. We'll inhale, lift that right arm up just a bit more. And then exhale, we're going to sweep it down onto the ground. It doesn't even have to be that deep. It can be just a few inches out in front of you. And then we'll inhale, sweep the left arm all the way up. Maybe a little back bend at the top, opening up that left shoulder. And again, we'll sweep the left arm down. And take that right arm all the way up. So if you do want to close your eyes, maybe just feeling all the little muscles in the back. And then the arms just opening up. Lengthening, creating space in the body. Just moving with your own breath. Linking breath with movement, movement with breath. And we'll just do this a couple more times. No need to rush. Just checking in on the body, see how it's feeling in this very moment. And when you're ready, we'll come all the way back up to the top. And we'll inhale, lengthen up the spine again, and begin to walk the hands around to the right. We'll inhale, lengthen up once more. And then exhale, begin to spin around to the right just a bit. Head and neck are the last thing to spin around. Doesn't have to be too intense. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, coming back to center. And again, we'll inhale, really root the sit bones down all the way to the crown of the head. Exhale, begin to walk the hands over to the left this time. And we'll inhale, lengthen up the spine, nice and long. And then exhale, moving from the belly, just twisting a bit more. Maybe the chin meets that left shoulder. And we'll inhale one more time. And then exhale all the way back to center. So we'll take both hands, clasp them behind your back. And we'll inhale, press the knuckles down towards the ground. And the gaze can look up, opening up the chest. Exhale, release the hands. Walk the hands out in front of you. Maybe this is enough. Maybe taking the forearms down to the ground or to a pillow or to blocks. Just let the low back release. Let the head and neck be nice and heavy. Let the hips open up just gently. Take one breath in. On the breath out, walking the hands all the way back. So if your legs are crossed, just taking the opposite in front. Balancing ourselves out, opening up the other side of the hip a bit more. So on your next breath in, we'll lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, begin to bend that right elbow. Gently pressing it down. If it feels good and if you have the space, you can always take that left arm behind. Maybe the fingertips touch. And if they don't, that's okay. You can always just take them and see if they can reach as far as they can. And it feels good, tipping over to the left, opening up that right elbow, looking past it. And then coming back up to center, we'll let go of that. Inhale the arms, the windmill them. We're going to take the right arm underneath the left, eagle arms. And then inhale, take the fingertips up towards the ceiling. A little round in the shoulders. Chin meets the chest, gaze is looking past the elbows. Nice, soft breath in and out. We'll inhale, lift the fingertips just a bit more. And then exhale, take that left arm across the chest. Big inhale. Exhale, roll that shoulder down, and then the gaze looks over the left shoulder. One breath in. One breath out. And then we'll take the left arm overhead, bend that elbow. This side might be a little tighter. For me, it is. That's totally okay. Just gently pressing that elbow down, seeing if you can take the gaze towards the front of the room. If you have the space on this side, maybe seeing if the fingertips touch or just reaching for each other. Tipping over to the right, that feels good. Maybe opening up that left elbow, looking past. And then we'll inhale, take it all the way back up towards center. Windmill the arms, the left arm underneath the right. Twisting them together, eagle arm. Inhale, take the fingertips up towards the sky. And then doming the upper back just a bit. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, take the fingertips just a bit more higher this time. And then exhale, right arm comes over the chest. Inhale in, lengthen up. Exhale, maybe roll that right shoulder down, and then the gaze looks over towards the right. Last breath in. And then on the breath out, we'll just open up, cactus arms looking up, take the hands behind the back. This time, usually my left thumb is on top of my right. See if you can do goofy grips. So for me, that would be right thumb on top of my left. And then we'll inhale, take the knuckles down. Inhale the chest up. And then exhale, begin to walk the hands out in front of you. Again, see what your range of motion is today, not pushing past it. And we'll take a calm breath in and a calm breath out. Begin to walk the hands all the way back up. And you can either gently roll over the knees or come to a side seat, but we'll all meet up into a tabletop. Shoulders right over the wrist, hips right over the knees, fingertips spread nice and wide. On your next breath in, we'll lower the belly, open up the chest, and the gaze looks up. Exhale, round the upper back, belly to spine, chin to chest. And again, we'll inhale, pull the heart through the arms, tailbone points up. Exhale, reverse, dome the upper back, pushing down through the earth. And again, last time, we'll inhale for a cow pose. Exhale to a cat back. And coming to a nice neutral spine. So we're going to take our big toes together and then take the knees out as wide as comfortable. So we're going to transition from a tabletop to a child's pose, but kind of put a little spin on it. So on an inhale, we're going to begin to lean over to our right and then circle the hips all the way back down towards the heels for child's pose. Big breath in. On the breath out, begin to lean to the left, coming up and then shoulders stack right on top of the wrist. And we'll do that the other way. So a big inhale. Exhale, begin to circle to the left. Take the hips all the way back down towards the heels. Big breath in. On the breath out, coming up, lean towards the right. And we'll just do one more round on both sides. So begin to take the hips to the right, sending them back towards the heel. Nice and slow, begin to round up towards the left and coming back to center. Last time. We'll begin to circle around, down to the left, all the way to the back. And slowly circling our way up, all the way while shoulders are stacked right on top of our wrists, and then taking our toes back to the hip width apart. We're going to tuck our toes under, really press down through all 10 knuckles, engage the core, and we'll send and lift the hips all the way up and back down. We're facing dog. So keep the knees nice and bent, really lengthen out the spine first, really pressing down through the hands, sending the hips back. And then we'll inhale up onto the toes. Exhale, begin to bend one knee, straighten the other. Inhale back up onto the toes, and then just bending and straightening the reverse. Then we'll just pedal back and forth, play around with it, see what's going on in the backs of the legs. Still keeping with those deep inhales, deeper exhales. And gaze is looking in between the feet, the calves. Navel is pulling up towards the spine. When you're ready, we'll find a little bit of stillness in the feet. On inhale, we'll lift up onto the toes, and then exhale the heels down towards the mat. No worries if they don't touch. We'll do that twice more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time, inhale up, exhale down. On your next breath in, slight bend in the knees, gaze look towards the top of the mat, and exhale, we'll slowly walk and crawl ourselves all the way to the top. Once you make your way there, just bowing down, let the head and neck be nice and heavy, nice generous bend in the knees if you need to. And then maybe grabbing hold of opposite elbows, swaying side to side. Let the shoulders be nice and heavy, and let the top of the head come parallel to the ground if that's accessible. And then we'll let the fingertips touch the ground. Keeping the head nice and heavy, we'll slowly roll up one notch at a time. Once you make your way up, roll the shoulders down the spine. Inhale the arms all the way up. Gaze what's in between the thumbs. Exhale, hinge at the hips, leading with the chest. We'll come all the way back down to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on top of the thighs or even the shins. And then exhale, forward fold. A couple more times. Inhale, lift the heart, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Last time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt it down. Hands come down to the mat, and we'll step back into our plank pose. So we'll stay here for the breath in. On the breath out, lower the knees, bend the elbows, graze the ribcage down to the belly, and flatten the tops of the feet onto the mat. So your elbows, point them straight back towards your heel, and keep them there. And we'll inhale the chest back just an inch for baby cobra. And then exhale down. Inhale maybe a little higher this time, engage the glutes at the top. And then exhale down. Last time, inhale maybe to a full cobra. And then exhale down with control. Tuck the toes under, engage the core. Knees can stay down if need to, but we'll press ourselves all the way up into a plank pose. And then exhale the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. And then pedaling out the feet again. Still getting into the backs of the legs, maybe even sway your hips a little side to side, just getting some motion into the body. When you're ready, we'll inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, begin to slowly step all the way up towards the top again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We'll slowly begin to roll up one notch at a time again. Once you make your way all the way up, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down. We'll step back to plank pose. Savor the breath in. On the breath out, lower the knees down. Begin to bend the elbows all the way down to the belly. We'll inhale for cobra. If you have the room already, maybe lift the hips, lift the thighs off of the mat. And then we'll all meet back into a downward facing dog, whatever transition feels best to you. We're just going to stay here for 3 rounds of breath. 2 more rounds. 1 more round. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, slight bend in the knees, and maybe take a nice big step all the way to the top this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. This time we'll inhale, root to rise all the way to standing, lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. And then hands come next to your side, Shavasana or mountain pose. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, slight bend in the knees. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down, sitting back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower down halfway or all the way, your choice. Inhale for cobra, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, we're going to stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. You can always come down into child's pose if you need to. 2 more rounds. 1 breath in. 1 breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and begin to step or hop all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing, lifting the arms. And then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Just maybe closing the eyes, let yourself recenter, refocus. Catching the breath. Maybe catching a hold of that heartbeat, slowing it down just a bit. And we'll just take 3 cleansing breaths here. Big inhale in. Nice sigh at the mouth. Twice more inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last big exhale. Beautiful. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down and step or hop all the way back to plank pose. And then you can take your flow. You can go straight into downward facing dog if you also need to. Some days there are just times where I don't want to do a chaturanga and it just feels good. Go straight back into downward facing dog. So from here, we'll inhale that left leg all the way up. Keep the hips square at first. Point the toes down like you're trying to keep that back wall up with your foot. Inhale, engage the glute just a bit more. Lift the heel. And then begin to open up the hip if that feels good. Bend the knee. And then rolling out the ankle a bit. Circling open the hip. When you're ready, we'll inhale, begin to straighten up that left leg, squaring off the hip. Exhale, knee to nose, hold. Inhale, take that leg all the way back up. And then exhale, knee to left elbow, left shoulder, hold. And then take that left foot on the outside of the left hand, coming into the lizard pose. So if you need to, you can always set your back knee down if that feels a little better. You can also take your right hand onto a book or a block, give you a little more leverage. So from here in our lizard pose, we'll inhale that left arm all the way up, twisting from the belly. Exhale, nice and slow. We're going to bend that left elbow and see if it can come towards that left arch of the foot. If that doesn't feel good, maybe just towards the top of the knee. See your range of motion. And we're just going to flow through that 2 more times. So we'll inhale, lift that left arm up, twisting from the belly. Exhale, bend the elbow, bring it down as far as it feels comfortable. The last time, inhale that left arm up. And then exhale, take that elbow down as far as it feels good. And then we'll take that left hand back down to the mat, so shoulders right over the wrist still. And you can take your left foot straight back into downward facing dog, or maybe you can pull the leg all the way up, three-legged down dog. And then placing it back down, downward facing dog. One breath in, one breath out. Again, lift that left leg all the way up. Exhale, dome the upper back, and then take that knee towards the nose. Inhale, sweep the leg back up. Exhale, knee to nose. Place the left foot in between the hands, low lunge. So from here, we'll just drop our back heel towards the ground, and we'll sweep the arms all the way up, warrior two. So from here, see if your front ankle is in line with that back arch. Really grounding into the feet and taking that left thigh and see if you can really press it to the left. So you don't want your knee to come towards midline. That doesn't feel too great. So really engaging the glute, engaging that quad. And we'll take a big inhale in, exhale out. On your next breath in, we'll straighten up that front leg, lift the arms up, and exhale, coming back down to warrior two. Twice more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. The inhales will lift you up, and the exhales will ground you down. Beautiful. This time, we'll lift all the way up. Left foot points towards the right. And then exhale, begin to bend the knees, coming into goddess pose. So it doesn't have to be too deep, especially right now. But if you are up here, as long as your knees are pointing the same direction as your feet. So as long as you have that alignment, you're totally good. So we'll take the hands to heart center. Maybe swaying a little side to side. Big breath in, big breath out. And then we'll inhale up an inch, and then exhale down an inch. Twice more. Inhale up an inch. Exhale down an inch. The last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, begin to straighten both legs. Lift the arms up for star pose. Exhale, begin to point that left foot towards the front of the mat. And exhale, we'll come back down into our warrior two. Inhale, begin to reverse. Exhale, coming over towards the front, side angle. Forearm meets the top of the thigh, really pressing down, creating space. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, straighten up that front leg. Inhale, up towards center. Exhale, slide the hips towards the back of the room. And then let that left hand, whether it's the thigh, the calf or shin, or even a block, coming into triangle pose. And we'll just stay here just for a couple of breaths. If you need to put a nice little bend in the front knee, that's totally okay as well. As long as you have length in both side bodies, you don't want to be crunching in, just making lots of elongation in the body. So from here, we'll bend the knee. Inhale, reverse it back. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down towards the mat, low lunge. And then we'll take the left foot, meet the right. And you can go straight into downward facing dog or take your flow. So again, we'll stay here for 3 rounds of breath. You can always come down into child's pose. Deep breath in. Deeper breath out. If you're in child's pose, just coming back up into that downward facing dog. And then on your next breath in, we'll lift that right leg up. Keep the hips square, pointing the toes, flexing them down, really engaging that right glute. Inhale, lift the heel just a bit higher. And then exhale, open up the hip. And then bending the knee, and then we'll circle out the ankle, maybe circling out the hip. When you're ready, inhale, straighten up that leg, square off the hip. Exhale, knee to nose or knee to chest, pressing down through the earth. Inhale, sweep that right arm up. And then exhale, knee to left elbow, right shoulder. And then place that foot on the outside of that right hand for lizard pose. Again, if you need to place a block underneath your left hand or even place your knee down, that's totally fine. So from here, we'll inhale, twist from the belly, opening up towards that bent leg. And then exhale, you can bend the elbow. Maybe the elbow just touches the top of that knee, or maybe you're able to bring it down towards the ankle, towards the floor. We'll inhale, begin to twist all the way up. And then exhale, bend the elbow, bringing it down. Last time, inhale up. And then exhale down. Take that right hand right underneath the right shoulder. You can step back to downward facing dog or begin to sweep that leg all the way up. Exhale, bring it down, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, knee to chest, knee to nose, press down through the earth. And then inhale, sweep the leg up. Exhale, knee to chest, pull the foot in between the hands, low lunge. And then we'll just spin that back heel down. Inhale, begin to cartwheel the arms all the way up, warrior two. So again, checking in with that front leg, knees stacked over the ankle or a little behind. Shoulders stacked right on top of the hips. Arms nice and long. Soft gaze looking past that middle finger. On your next breath in, begin to straighten up that front leg, lift all the way up. Exhale down, warrior two. Twice more, inhale up. Exhale down. Last time, inhale up. And then exhale down, warrior two. This time we'll inhale, begin to point that right foot towards the left, open up, star pose. Exhale, begin to bend the knees, opening down into goddess pose. I'll take you guys for this again. You can keep the arms up or take the hands down the heart center. Again, swaying side to side if that feels good. Let the hips settle. Again, no need to come down into a really deep squat. It can even be up here, just being really cognizant of the knees and really energetically pressing the hips and the thighs towards the back. We'll inhale, lengthen up the spine a bit. Exhale, take the hands on top of the thighs. We'll inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, take that left shoulder down towards midline. Inhale, back up. And exhale, take the right shoulder towards midline. Inhale up. Beautiful. So from here, we'll inhale all the way back up through center. And then point the right toes towards the front of the mat. Exhale, bend that front knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, coming over towards the front side of the body into extended side angle. Having that nice length in the side body. Inhale, reverse. Straighten up that front leg. Inhale up towards center. Exhale, slide the hips back. Drop that right hand down, whether it's on the thigh or the shin or even to a block. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath, lengthening the spine. And then exhale, settling in. Inhale, coming up back into that warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, low lunge. Right foot meets the left. And going straight into downward facing dog or take your flow. And again, we're going to stay here for 3 rounds of breath. You can always come down to child's pose if you need to. Calm breath in. Calm breath out. We'll meet back up into a downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll inhale that left leg up. Bend the knee, open up the hip just for a moment. Inhale, straighten up the leg, square off the hip. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest and then aim it towards that behind the left wrist. And we'll slowly come down into pigeon pose. So that front knee is right in front of the left hip or just off to the side. If this doesn't feel good or it almost feels good, you can take a block or a pillow and then place it right underneath that left sit bone, bringing the floor to you. If that just doesn't feel good for ever what reasons, whether it's the knee or the hip, you can always come into a seated figure four, or you can come into a reclined figure four. You're still going to get that nice deep stretch into the hip. So in whichever variation you're in, begin to settle the breath just a bit more. So you can stay up on your hands if you're in the pigeon pose. If you have the space, maybe bringing your forearms down to the blocks or down to a pillow. And taking the chin towards the chest. Just letting the body relax. Letting the hips gently open up. And again, observing the breath. See if you can make each breath just a little longer, a little deeper each time. Notice if you're clenching the hands or even the teeth. And if you are, just begin to soften a bit more. When we build up tension in the body, our muscles and our whole body begins to tense up, and that doesn't feel good. When we tense up, we can't create space and we can't ease into it. So the easiest way is just paying attention to the breath, slowing it down. Letting our body just unfold naturally. So we're going to stay here just for a couple more breaths. If you need to come out of it sooner, please do so. When you're ready, we're going to take our hands all the way back up underneath our shoulders, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and we'll just take that left foot to meet the right into downward facing dog, maybe pedal out the feet just a bit. When you're ready, we'll lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip just for a brief moment. Straighten up the leg and begin to slowly draw that knee in towards the chest and then aiming it behind that right wrist. Slowly settling the hips down towards the mat. And again, each side might feel a little different. So maybe your left side, you could totally do pigeon, and this side feels just a little funky, and that's okay. You always have the option to do the figure four seated or reclined or even come into a child's pose. Just listening and honoring your body right now. And then when you're ready, if you have the space, you can bring your forearms back down to the mat. And we'll just breathe here for a few breaths. Noticing the inhales, noticing the exhale. And just noticing with every breath, your body lengthens up, creating a little more space. And then noticing every exhale, the body softens, a little more tension goes away. At any point, if the body starts to get a little tense, so you feel like a sharp pain, just easing off. No need to be in a particular pose or shape. We'll just breathe here for one more breath in. One more breath out. When you're ready, walk the hands all the way back up. And very carefully, we'll just come to our right feet and then gently begin to swing that left leg towards the front of the mat. And then lengthening the legs out in front of us, flexing the toes up towards the sky. We'll inhale, lengthen up the spine, lift the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Let the hands fall wherever they may. We're just going to stay here for one breath in, one breath out. Slowly begin to roll down with control all the way down onto your back. And then we're going to take both knees, or actually take your feet onto the mat first, bending your knees. We'll take the arms out into a T, palms facing down. Using your core just a bit, we're going to take the feet up, so 90-degree angle with your knees. Exhale, begin to slowly lower both knees down to the right. Gaze can look over to the left. Begin to relax here. Just relaxing into the twist. On your next breath in, we'll carefully lift both legs up. And then exhale, taking them down towards the left. Gaze looking over towards the right fingertips. Big belly breath into the twist. And exhale, releasing. And again, we'll do that one more time. Big belly breath in. And exhale, emptying it all out. On your next inhale, we'll lift the knees all the way back up. And if it feels good, grabbing onto the shins, maybe rocking a little side to side. When you're ready, we're going to slowly come into Shavasana. So lengthening out the legs if that feels good. You can always put a pillow underneath the knees or a rolled up blanket if that feels better on the low back. Slightly tuck the chin in just a bit to lengthen out the back of the neck onto the mat. And we'll take the arms out by our sides, palms facing up. Taking another big breath in through the belly, in through the lungs. Pause at the top. And then exhale, releasing it nice and slow. Begin to relax the toes, the soles of the feet, and the ankles. Relaxing the calves, the knees, and the tops of the thighs. Softening the hips and the pelvis. And then letting this peaceful sensation flow all the way up through the spine, into the belly, into the chest. Melting the shoulders down into the earth. And relaxing the arms all the way down to the fingertips, letting them naturally curl in. Releasing any tension left over in the jaw. And softening the space between your brows. Letting yourself surrender to the earth. When you're ready, slowly coming back to the room, back to your body, back to your breath, back to your natural pace of a heartbeat. Wiggling the fingertips and the toes. And taking a nice big stretch like you're waking up in the morning. If it feels good, rolling over to your favorite side into fetal pose. And once you make your way there, we'll take a big breath in. Big breath out. At the bottom of the exhale, slowly begin to press yourself all the way to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed or heavy. Once you make your way there, we'll take the hands to heart center, bowing the chin in gratitude. You're taking this time for yourself, taking this time for your practice, taking this time for a new perspective, for new beginnings. I thank you. As your body, your mind, and spirit, thank you. I hope you all feel a little more brighter, a little more stronger, and a little more at peace. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming. I hope you feel nice and relaxed and have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your week and weekend. Enjoy the rain if you're around in the rainy areas. And I hope to see you next week. Bye, everyone.